feature match area, so we are going to head right down to it. Take it away, gentlemen. Marshall and Paul, you got this.
Thank you, Monty. We very much appreciate it. Yeah, when he first came on, I'm like, that's not Maria. What's going on here? Monty guiding the ship there and doing a great job as always. Welcome back to the booth here on Marshall Cyclift. This is Paul Cheon, and we are just about ready for the next round of action here in Standard Day 1 at the PT. And we've got a really nice one. The deck that Monty just broke down for you at the news desk, the Azorius Tempo deck. That is, I like that kind of deck.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be really, really well suited for this particular matchup going against David Åstrand, who has already fallen to a similar Azorius Momo deck. Not quite exactly the same here, but you know what? The mono green deck, it's capable of those explosive draws, or you can ramp, but it's trying to play kind of like one card a turn a lot of the time. So if you can go high noon into those powerful 3-mana spells that Zevin Faust has, I think he's going to be in for a bit of a tough time here.
We're going to find out right now. You see Zevin Faust on the bottom part of your screen, David Åstrand on the top, both on 6 cards. Better news besides that, though, they're both on a 4-2 record coming in. That means they've locked up their day 2. And with a win-win, they're halfway to top 8. If you can get to 12 wins, you are locked for top 8 as long as it's before the last round of Swiss play. And, you know, one of these players will still be on track to do so after this round.
Yeah, certainly a very, very solid start here. And Zevin Faust, you know, one of the champions of the Azorius Tempo deck, has been playing this deck for quite some time, piloted it at one of the regional championships, and has been doing very, very well with the deck in general. So, you know, this is a format where you can play a wide variety of different strategies. Zevin going for something that he's very familiar and comfortable playing.
I love seeing lists like this. Especially when you get them in the hands of the person who's really kind of pushing it, you know?
Right.
They tend to know all of it.
And now if you're on David's side, you have to know, right? It's like, I'm playing against Azorius Tempo. They have 3 mana up. It can be anything, right? It can be Aven Interrupter. It can be Aang Swift Savior. Those are the 2 cards that are the most annoying cards to try and play around here.
And which one does Zevin have right now?
I believe he's got the Interrupter
He
here.
does. You are correct.
And it's one of those situations, too, where even if David tries to play around it and play nothing, Zevin's still probably just going to flash out one of those flyers just to get something going on the battlefield.
And then you're falling behind anyway.
Right, because by playing around it, you're still not doing anything, right? You're not really advancing your game state.
Yeah, you got to feel for David here. I mean, mono green, and it's a creature deck. It's just like, what are you going to do, not play stuff over and over again? That's not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah, so he's going to go for it here, and of course it's going to be met by the Aven Interrupter. David will, you know, and as this gets exiled, David will only have access to the 1 mana here. Noting that Zevin, the only reason why he's stopping to think about this a little bit is Meltstrider's Resolve is a card that's in these mono green decks, and Zevin doesn't want to play out the 2-2 and then run into Meltstrider's Resolve on the Keen-Eye Curator, which is exactly what David has.
That's
so
funny. He
really
played around it,
here.
and he was correct.
Yeah.
He's going to play Flood Pit's Drowner and target the forest.
And that's big because that just shuts off 2 pieces of mana here for David for the next turn. So, I mean, just, again, this is kind of, you're just seeing mastery being displayed here by Zevin, right? Most people, when you have the opportunity, you just fire off those 3 mana cards to kind of exile anything that your opponent might play. But with that 1 forest up, Zevin knows, you know, these mono green decks now have made the adjustment and are playing some number of those fight spells in the main. So several interesting options here for Zevin. Of course, we know that he's got the Aven Interrupter, but he also has Beza here in the hand, and that's going to make 2 tokens here.
Jeez, just like that.
Right, and remember, I mean, Badger Mole Cub currently in the graveyard here, and that land is stunned, so David only has access to potentially 3 mana next turn if he has a land to play.
So David trade off for the Drowner. And now Beza's on the battlefield. It's a 1-of.
Right, and that's the thing here with, if you're David, I mean, Earthbender Ascension would be the best thing to play here. He's got the Ice Tail Explorer and the Harmonizer, can't get either of them in play, and Meltstrider's Resolve doesn't kill anything relevant here. So yeah, I mean, basically kind of a time walk there, basically just locking down that forest.
Yeah, so David just has nothing? Two
Yeah,
4-drops?
You just got the 4-drops here, and that's the thing with the mono green deck. If you're very familiar with the threats that the deck has, you know, you can just kind of play around a lot of the stuff. Everything kind of gets played at sorcery speed, too.
We see a second warped Quantum Riddler here now for Zevin.
Zevin does find a land here, still has the ability to cast the Aven Interrupter. And Flip and Shroud are getting exiled here by the Keen-Eyed Curator.
Is that going to bother Devin? Not so much, huh? Graveyard, who cares?
Yeah, no, the tempo deck doesn't really utilize the graveyard at all.
In fact, it may even be a boon to him, right? If your opponent starts dumping mana into trying to get your Curator big, and then you bounce it or airbend it or whatever.
Now, Zevin is a little bit flooded. He's got 3 lands in hand, and I believe Aven Interrupter might be the only action spell in his hand. Yeah, 3 lands and an Aven Interrupter. And now it's one of those spots where you really don't have any other options. So you're probably just going to have to run out the Interrupter here and just kind of hope that David doesn't have the interactive spell. And I mean, you still do plot it, right? I
You
mean,
do.
Even if David plays a land of Melchrider's Resolve, it's still plotted for this turn.
You just lose the flyer.
But if you're David, you absolutely want to kill the Interrupter here if you can. Yep. And now with Zevin, I mean, even though he's got the 3 lands in hand, still got a couple of Quantum Riddlers there. You can just start firing those off. Beat downs. But this is kind of the shields down moment now, right? Now if you're on David's side, you will be able to get the Ice-Tailed Explorer down. There is a Fabled Passage in the graveyard, so you can get a lot of lands into play this turn. The question is, can you find a way to try to close out this game before Zevin wins with the Quantum Riddlers?
Just by beating down?
Right, I mean, just this deck just has trouble with flyers in general, so yeah, just 4 in the air next turn would put David down to 6, and then you just play the other Riddler, and all of a sudden David needs to find an answer to those flyers.
Yeah, you know, you find yourself in that position a lot where you're like, oh, if I just had more time,
Right.
I could do all these really great things. And the tempo deck's job is to shorten that time. Zevin's doing a very good job of that right now.
Okay, so no.
There's the scariest card.
Right.
Might Form Harmonizer.
Trigger on the, yeah, trigger on this.
Yeah, now things change if David can also give trample to something. But yeah, David just trying to get in for a lot of damage here. Harmonizer has hit the battlefield here. The Keen-Eyed Curator now has 6 power. You fetch the land. It now has 12 power.
Zevin sitting at
Yeah.
18.
And then now you play the Ice-Tailed Explorer. So yeah, actually the Quantum Riddler needs to block here or he just dies.
Is it going to have to trade off?
Yeah, I mean, this is a 24 power creature.
Trigger.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah, I wonder if...
Well, that's one way to not die to
Right.
flyers.
Yeah,
is force them to
exactly. I
block.
wonder if Zevin may have needed to consider keeping 1 token back here just to be able to block, right? Because now he's lost kind of his primary route to victory, which is in the air. If you get David down to 11, you still get David down to 7 with the Riddler. You can chump block with the 1/1, and then you still have a lethal attack with 2 Riddlers on the following turn. Sky Coach Conductor, a pretty cool draw here from Zevin. If David has more creatures in play, you can flicker your Beza. That's on the battlefield. You can basically exile non-pilot creatures. I don't think Beza is a pilot, so you can flicker that and try to get some advantages there too.
I'm going to put my foot down and say Beza is definitely not a pilot.
Elemental Elk. All right. Yeah, and so right now, I mean, those tokens are still doing a good job of at least preventing David from just outright killing Zevin. Now, remember, there are more lines of text on the Keen-Eyed Curator. So if you can get Keen-Eyed Curator, if you can exile enough card types to turn it into a 7/7 Trampler, that almost certainly will be a lethal attack with, of course, the Ice-Tail Explorer and the Mindform Harmonizer that's in play. Right now...
Even through blockers.
Right, exactly. But right now, there's just a creature that's been exiled, and there's only creatures in the graveyard, so he's nowhere close to being able to exile. Now, remember, you can also target your own stuff, though, with the Keen-Eye Curator. At the very least, there's a land in David's graveyard. One other thing to consider, I believe that is an escape tunnel in David's graveyard. So if you target maybe a smaller creature, right, make it unblockable, and then play a bunch of lands off the Ice-Tail Explorer, you might be able to get that large enough to the point where you can actually attack for lethal with that as well.
Wow, could David turn this fully around? I mean...
Oh, and that's an Earthbender Ascension. And, I mean, with the Ice-Tail Explorer in play, I mean, this is where you got to know, you got to math, right? There's a lot of mathing involved here. Ice-Tail Explorer, Earthbender Ascension, Fabled Passage, things can get trampled. There's going to be a lot here. But, of course, David also needs to be mindful of the fact that Zevin could have Aang. Zevin can have an Aven Interrupter, but he probably still needs to go for it here.
David's down to 6.
You know, Earthbender Ascension resolves, and we know that Zevin does not have any type of interaction. So if everything goes the way that David wants, as long as there's just no resistance here, I imagine this is just going to be far too many landfall triggers, far too many doubling effects, and then the Earthbender Ascension will give trample for the lethal damage.
Oh, sure. Don't even have to get the Curator.
Yeah, exactly.
To full power.
You just need to get the Earthbender Ascension to 4 counters to have it start giving +1/+1 and trample.
So there's one.
Yeah, I mean,
get the first one for free.
Right, but then with the Ice-Tail Explorers in the graveyard, with it in play rather, every time you play one of the fetch lands out of the graveyard, that's just 2 landfall triggers.
That's the mill trigger from Ice-Tail Explorer.
Right. Yeah, at this point, David's feeling pretty comfortable now.
Yeah, especially given that Devin hasn't done anything.
Right.
And now you're thinking, oh, well, if you had something, you would have used it.
Yeah.
So much math,
That's really funny. He said the same thing you did.
Yeah, I mean, that is, you know, one of the things with this deck. It is very, very powerful. It's extremely resilient. There's also lots of math. So if math is not your thing, probably shouldn't be playing this deck.
This is David's first time playing at the Pro Tour.
Exactly.
Right.
It is interesting because he was talking about the math, but he told us he actually really likes that. He's kind of a Quandrix kind of person.
Right. But things change when you got the bright lights on you, you're playing in the feature match area, and then all of a sudden it feels like your processing speed slows down just a little bit.
Yeah, he says, I'm very much a statistics person when it comes to Magic.
Mm-hmm.
He says, if math is magic, then one could conversely say that Magic is, at least to some degree, math. He says, I'd say that tracks. So this is what you wanted, David.
Sure.
You get to do
You
math.
asked for it. Here we are.
If you pass your homework assignment, you will be rewarded with 1 game win. Zevin
Trigger mill 1. This one?
sitting still.
This one. This one. This one. Yeah.
So these are harmonizer triggers that we're tracking? Is that right?
I believe so, because we're not quite at 4 counters on the Earthbender Ascension yet.
Mm-hmm. But we are hurtling in that direction.
Right. Yeah, and now if you're David, it's more can I kill you with 2 giant creatures,
Can I make
right?
2?
I mean, given that we know Zevin's hand, he just needs to do it on the 1, but can he give 2 creatures trample, double their power enough to the point where he can play around something that way?
This one. This will also be 2.
Okay, so he's doubling that.
Well, in response to that, this will Latin first, this will get the counter first. Yeah.
So this is 6, and so it's 14.
Yeah.
Right, and noting that still there are 2 Fabled Passages on the battlefield that haven't gotten lands yet.
So mill 1.
Mill 1. Slant Elves.
Go to combat.
Yeah, I like
Right,
this. He's trying to make multiple lethal threats.
Yeah, I mean, this is just going to be lethal by way too much.
Way too much. Zevin Faust is going to pack it in. A+ David. And he's going to pick up game number 1. And that was a game where Zevin had a pretty good start, too. I wouldn't have predicted that David could turn it around quite in that fashion.
Hey, I mean, you just see this time and time again with this landfall deck where it looks like, okay, the other decks kind of killed your Badger Mole Cub. All right, doesn't look too bad. But then out of nowhere, you just die, right? You just stick the Ice Tail Explorer. You get an overwhelming mana advantage. And then all of a sudden, you know, you get the landfall triggers. And then before you know it, all it takes is just one unblocked creature to have you kind of die out of nowhere. Yeah, and this is exactly the type of start that David wants here. Get that 1-drop into play. Get those cheap creatures in play. Slide them underneath all the 3-mana cards that Zevin's deck is capable of.
Yeah, this Saz's Chocobo is going to be way bigger than any of those creatures very quickly. The key is that it's on the battlefield,
right,
and it didn't get blinked or bounced or air bent or anything like that.
Yeah, and David does have the Paw Patch formation as well. Nice sideboard card here against all the flyers that the Azorius Tempo deck has. Oh, wow, that is a great draw. It's a Badger Mole Cub off the top. Doesn't necessarily need to run it out just yet. Oh, actually, instead of that, just going to go for the large Saz's Chocobo attack here. And can still attack. This allows you to play around Flood Pitch Drowner, and probably Zevin probably going to be taking the 2 points of damage here. Yeah.
Fabled Passage get cracked. That's going to be a counter.
Now, Zevin does have multiple ways to answer this Chocobo, so it's not the end of the world. He has an Airbender Ascension, which of course will reset the number of counters on the Chocobo. Also has a copy of Get Lost in hand too. So plenty of interactive spells here to make sure that the Chocobo just doesn't run away with the game.
It's going to be Flood Pitch Drowner on end step here to at least slow down the runaway bird.
But turn 2 Flood Pitch Drowner on the play into hopefully some kind of 3-mana effect. I mean, there's 12 of them, so it's hard to imagine Zevin doesn't have something there. And here, it's not the one that you definitely want, right? You want the ones, you want the Aang, you want the Aven Interrupters. Those have been the staples. Sky Coach Conductor, of course, a new addition to this deck as another 3-mana option. But it is nice. I mean, with the Flood Pitch Drowner in play, you can flicker the Flood Pitch Drowner and just continue keeping that Saz's Chocobo locked down.
Counters flowing onto the Chocobo.
And there's a Badger Mole Cub. Might meet a Flash Freeze here.
Yes, it does. Seven has that out of the sideboard.
Yep.
And that's no attack thanks to the Flood Pit Drowner.
Pretty good sideboard card against the mono green deck.
Counter
Counter your deck.
Your spell. Wow, that is rough. Land go from Zevin. That is the name of the game with this deck. Basically, every single card can play at instant speed.
Right. Now, David only has Ice Tail Explorer as the final threat in his hand here. So if Zevin can counter that somehow and deal with this Chocobo, then all David has is a couple of interactive spells in hand.
Yeah, it looks like David's going to play his land, crack it, get the counter, get another counter, then play Ice Tail and get another 2. I mean, this Saz's Chocobo is huge, but one reset on it is a lot of work.
Right,
lost.
and Zevin doesn't have a counter spell layer. He does have the Get Lost, but if you play the Ice Tail Explorer, you don't get the window to use the Get Lost before David at least gets the first land out of the graveyard.
That's right. And then the question is, do you want to take care of the long-term problem or the short-term problem?
Right. So with this landfall trigger potentially on the stack, we might see Zevin go for something.
No, Zevin,
Or the
Zevin's
sacrifice.
letting him.
Perhaps with the sacrifice on the stack.
That's an escape tunnel into the yard.
Yeah. I mean, he's got that Airbender Ascension, which is a pretty clean answer to the Chocobo, so might use the Get Lost here on the Ice Tail Explorer.
That's got to be tempting for Zevin. Then untap, reset the Chocobo, and you're kind of back to square one.
Right. Oh, looking to flicker the Drowner here instead to lock down the Chocobo.
So he's going to kind of do all the things.
Right, but this does tap out Zevin, which does open the door for David to fire off the Melt Strider's Resolve if he likes, to clear out the Flood Pitch Drowner, or even the Conductor if he likes.
Meanwhile, every single land drop adding to that Saz's Chocobo. It's going to be really sad when it gets reset and all those counters fall off.
Yeah, but you know what this deck is pretty good at? It's really good at just kind of putting up million lands into play again. So even if it does get reset, that Chocobo can still build up very, very quickly as long as the Untitled Explorer stays on the battlefield.
Okay, this is going to be Meltstrider's Resolve now from Åstrand.
Right. And it's just, which one do I go for?
What do you kill?
Probably the Drowner, because there is a stun counter on the Chocobo. So Zevin, if you really wanted, could just shuffle the Chocobo back in with the Flip Pitch Drowner.
Yeah.
Got to get lost here. Oh, and that's a great draw here from Zevin. Even Interrupter off the top here. And David has that lone Saz's Chocobo. Still doesn't untap for the turn. Stun counter removed. Can perhaps utilize some of these map tokens to try to find what he needs. No pressure. You see 3 forests in hand.
Okay, mapping it up. Well,
it's like, do you want
I
Earthbender
heard you
Ascension?
like lands. He really wants another threat, right?
Yeah, Untitled Explorer would be kind of
Yeah.
the ideal card.
It doesn't feel like he wants more enabling,
Right.
but maybe he does. Yeah, maybe he thinks he can just ride this Saz's Chocobo to victory.
Because he can draw it this turn, right, with the
Oh.
Pop Patch formation. So he's going to do that, play a land, and then try to resolve this Earthbender Ascension. Although we know that Zevin has multiple ways to handle this Earthbender Ascension. There's a null, so firing that off instantly. One of the only targets.
Yeah, David figured, well, if it's going to be free,
Yeah.
I'll take it. And
All right,
transfer a
there we go.
counterspell, and there it is. The Airbender Ascension, which is going to airbend away the Saz's Chocobo.
Yeah.
David's not only going to have to pay 2 more mana just to get it back,
Right.
he's got to start over.
Has to start all over here. Presumably Zevin's going to have a third land here. No, he tapped 3 mana. What happened here?
Yeah.
It's got 2 mana up.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Okay.
My bad.
Okay. Saz's Chocobo back down.
Got it.
That's okay.
All right, David trying to rebuild here. This deck has a lot of lands, though. If you get your action spells dealt with, sometimes this can happen. This is where you're trying to hit Bossing Say off of these triggers, right? Because then that's at least a land that allows you to continue putting pressure on your opponent.
You can turn all this extra land drops into pressure. It's almost free, right? And you have so much extra stuff to do with that mana.
Right. Sacrificing the food from the Paw Patch formation. That is an escape tunnel. So just 2 more counters on the Chocobo, but that's it. Zevin's hand, I believe, was a High Noon and an Aven Interrupter, so still keeping that High Noon in. And, you know, David has access to a ton of mana. One thing to note, by the way, look at that text on the bottom. It's 4 and a red to deal 5 damage to something.
Yeah.
That can go to the face. So if Zevin somehow manages to find another multiversal passage, at that point, probably going to name red, and that could be relevant at helping Zevin close out the game.
Passing after that? Pass. You didn't interrupt it. Instead.
Yeah, just firing it out on the empty board, getting some flyers, and we kind of have a bit of a racing situation here.
Yeah, if Zevin can find another way to either deal with or reset the Saz's Chocobo, he could really take control here. And
that's a starting town, so that's a red source, right? Starting town is a red source, so I mean, now Zevin has lethal next turn.
If both creatures get through and he resolves the High Noon, it's done.
That's right. That's another forest with that starting town. I mean, that is just going to be game here.
Yeah, we just don't see any fireworks this game from David. He's all in on Saz's Chocobo, the only real threat that we saw. And there's 4 damage coming through. That's going to put David down to 5.
5 to the face.
And go upstairs.
A
It's the
High
old
Noon
burn deck.
Why don't we call it Jeskai Burn instead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's 1 game apiece for our 2 competitors here. Both of them are sitting at 4 and 2 if you're just tuning in. That's pretty dang good. 4 and 2 is the record you need to get to day 2. So we're going to be seeing them tomorrow regardless of the outcome of this match or the last round today.
Right.
Sorry, I'm really out of it.
Looks like very, very solid hands from both sides. Turn one, Landwehr Elf was good 20 years ago, still good now.
Still very good. And it's tap land here for Faust, so this could be big for
Oh,
David.
yeah, I mean, turn one Elf into turn two Earthbender Ascension is exactly what you want here. Yeah, let's just fire that off. And I mean, this is one of those starts where your back's against the wall. I mean, David already has access to 5 mana next turn on turn 3 with a decent board.
Wow, explosive start here for David on the play.
Ooh, and that Zevin drawing a null after David runs out the Earthbender Ascension. So a little unfortunate timing there on that draw.
Land number 2 go.
Looks like he's got a Flip Hitch Drowner and a Flash Freeze, so can counter whatever David plays. David, though, happy to just run out some lands, maybe get in for some damage. Suppose could just choose to run out the Mightform Harmonizer, perhaps warp it, because he does have a Fabled Passage in hand, so that you can pump up that land and have that get in for a lot of damage. Likely the consideration here for David. It's like, basically it's counter spells or Flip Hitch Drowner. Most of the time here is what Zevin's representing.
David in the tank.
Oh. Just looking to probably maybe attack with the land here.
He's got 2 counters on the Earthbender Ascension already.
You can also just hard cast Harmonizer here. And if it gets countered, you know, you're reasonably safe to attack. The disaster scenario here is if you attack for 2, and then before the second main phase, Zevin runs out a Flood Pitch Drowner on the Landwehr Elf, and all of a sudden you can't play your 4-drop, right? So if Zevin kind of has that read, he can do that. Alternatively, I mean, Zevin also was considering playing out the Flood Pitch Drowner, tapping down the Landwehr Elf, and then maybe blocking the token.
Instead, he does nothing. He is going to see...
Because he's got the counter spell, right? He's got the Flash Freeze, so he can just run that out instead. Yeah.
There it is. Flash Freeze to kill the Harmonizer, or counter it, I should say. And then back over to Zevin. What has he got?
High Noon, maybe?
Yeah, that's right.
Just setting up here. Avatar's Wrath in Zevin's hand. Really, really impactful card here against the deck that's playing tons and tons of creatures. Especially with High Noon, you can only play one of those things every turn. But I believe David might have the answer there. I think that's a Paw Patch formation, right?
Look at this.
And that kills enchantments. So might just fire it off here just because High Noon is a very important card in this matchup, given that Zevin kept it in after sideboard.
Escape tunnel for David. It's going to crack it, though.
Yeah, and that'll get the 4th counter on the Earthbender Ascension. So now David has the ability to pump one of his creatures here.
This counter on
Elf, maybe, split it up. Nope.
Just thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to go for the Elf.
Sure.
Yeah, they're both going to get in there, too.
Get in for 4.
That's all.
And he passes the turn back.
Yes. Yeah, because Paw Patch formation, of course, is an instant. So if he really wants to deal with the High Noon, can, of course, just do that end of Zevin's turn. So Zevin.
targeting.
This is main phase,
Okay.
Go ahead.
and that'll keep the forest locked down.
Right. Now, if you're on David's side, do you want to cycle? Do you want to find action, right? This is the interesting thing. Do you want to give yourself an extra draw to find an Ice Hill Explorer, or do you just want to get that High Noon off the battlefield?
Draw, make it full token.
Sure.
Yep. Says, I do not care about High Noon for now. I want to maximize my opportunity here. If I can find a Mind Form Harmonizer, that would also be super strong on this board.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't look like he found one yet.
Right, so now you still have the ability to go Earthbender Ascension #2 and also still be able to cast that Paw Patch formation for the High Noon if you need. Now Zevin does have Annul in hand, so the Annul would be able to cleanly answer the Earthbender Ascension that David drew.
Here we go, this.
Oh, not going for it then, given that he played the land first. Oh no, excuse me. Play the land first because you want to target the Fabled Passage with the Earthbender Ascension, so that makes sense. I imagine Zevin's going to fire off the Annul here, though.
2 cards.
Yeah, he kept up that mana just in case this situation arose, and it did.
Right. Now, noting that High Noon is in play, so David can't run out the Paw Patch formation at least until Zevin's turn.
Right. Zevin let it happen.
Zevin did let it happen. Okay. I mean, he's probably just, the plan is to just lean on the Avatar's Wrath here. Get those animated lands off the battlefield. It's like, I'll take a bunch of damage here.
Thank you. One of that on the target. This.
Yep.
Okay, Llanowar Elf up to 3 +1/+1 counters. Fable Passage has 2, so does the Forest.
So this is 6 damage potentially coming in.
Yeah.
So with this.
No blocks.
And just attacking with Llanowar Elves, and now David looking to sacrifice the Fabled Passage. This is the nice combination. Works super well with cards with landfall triggers
No, I
here.
just- I don't think.
Okay. I mean, just.
You're putting 2 counters on the elf?
Yeah, it's going to be 1 counter there and then 1 more line filter counter, and that's good to do.
Yep. I'll go to 8.
Okay, down to 8 goes Zevin.
Down to 8, bunch of counters, 3 on Ascension, 7 on the other.
Boy, this Avatar's Wrath better do some work.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to exile a bunch of those cards for sure.
Contact.
David has yet to find a Bossing Say. That would, of course, be a
Yeah.
nice follow-up as well.
Yeah, he's got 3 of those in his
Yeah.
I'll
list.
Attack first, get in for some damage, but I don't think, it doesn't feel like Zevin has anything else he can or should do outside of just fire off this Avatar's Wrath.
Perhaps thinking about the timing, and there it is. Avatar's Wrath, the chosen creature, is going to be his own Flood Pit's Drowner. David's going to double check what Avatar's Wrath does.
This is Airbender, this one.
Yeah, when the lands go into the airbend zone, they get exiled, so they just come back
I guess
onto the
keep this up.
battlefield without the counter. So tons of landfall triggers, everything gets exiled, but they're just keeping now the Earthbender Ascension on 4 because any number beyond 4 is completely irrelevant. So, you know, technically you can get it up to 15 counters, but it just doesn't matter.
Okay, there's a Paw Patch formation.
All right, so they are
Take out
online.
High
What?
Noon on end step.
It's still Avatar's Wrath.
Oh, sorry.
Right. You can't do it until the next
I'm a bit
turn.
rusty. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll pass it. That's all right.
Okay, so
Wow.
David, nothing
Just
there,
go.
only 2 lands here. So can Zevin turn things around? David needs to find a threat.
I'll eat the food.
Yeah, 19.
Cash in the food just to gain some life. David needs a creature. Hey, that's a creature.
Was it a
plays.
Chocobo?
Yes,
It's a Chocobo.
for 2.
Get the Llanowar Elf in play. It resolves. Get the Chocobo in play. And remember, with 2 Earthbender Ascensions on 4, I mean, both of these are really credible threats on their own.
Yeah, at this point, David just needs anything with power and toughness.
Right. Especially with all of those lands, so.
And Zevin is down to 8 and has yet to really be able to mount a significant offense back in the other direction.
Ooh,
it's a
well,
replay.
knows about the
Oh.
annul now.
I will cast Sky Coaching.
He accidentally put a null on the battlefield.
Yeah, that's a little rough, a little awkward. Has the ability to flicker the Flood Pitch Drowner here, but choosing not to do it here.
Yeah.
Ooh, and a High Noon here.
1914, right?
The burn spell?
Off
Is that-
the burn spell. I don't see a red source in play
I
right
guess it's
now.
not then,
So
is it also David's at 19?
right.
You're at 8?
Yeah, I'm at 8.
Yeah.
So Zevin decides not to use the annul, hangs onto it, accidentally shows it to David.
Right, didn't use it on the previous Earthbender Ascension. That was the one
Exactly.
where he had a really good opportunity to do so. Perhaps scared of a possible sapling nursery if David maybe kept that in, right? Or has it in after sideboard. That is a very, very powerful, impactful card in this matchup as it makes a bunch of 3/4 creatures with reach, which basically completely shuts down all of Zevin's creatures.
Big problem for Zevin. And thinking maybe he can work around Earthbender Ascension, though I do wonder if he's going to be able to this game.
Yeah, I mean, being at 8 life here, both of them fully online, there's already a fetch land in play. It is tough. You can freeze one of them, right? You can flicker the Flood Pitch Drowner, but you can't flicker both. Or excuse me, freeze both.
Get one card.
Does Zevin have to just run out Avatar's Wrath again just to buy a little bit of time?
It's starting to feel like desperate times here for Zevin Faust.
Right.
Avatars.
Yeah, he is going
Yeah.
to go for Avatar's Wrath.
Absolutely makes sense. I mean, when you have those Ascensions in play, even a random one drop can be a lethal threat.
So this will buy him at least a turn.
Yeah, and he's cracking away for 2 every turn. Is that Earthbender Ascension?
It is.
Okay, but Zevin has the annul. Remember, he was patient with that annul previously, and that's huge because now, you know, David could have thought, oh, I might be close to just killing you this turn. Earthbender Ascension, get a land, 2 triggers, you have another fetch land, but Zevin showed the annul, that's right.
Yeah, he knows about it.
He knows it, so David just doesn't even have to play it. He would have just played it probably, right?
For sure.
Oh, man.
This annul has been a bit of a nightmare for Zevin.
Right.
He's got High Noon.
Oh, man.
That's rough.
Yeah. So now I believe the coast is clear to start casting these airbent creatures.
That is correct. He also drew yet another one, and you said it, Paul. Anything's a threat at this point. It's
Right.
just the Llanowar Elves, but it's going to start getting chippy.
Yeah, it's not like Zevin has hard wraths where you just are afraid of overextending. So he can just kind of safely play out all these 1-drops again and then just hope one of them sticks to get through for some damage.
So Zevin buys himself some time,
Right.
but maybe not much.
Okay, it's time to animate the creature land. All right, hey. I mean, that puts David down to 9.
Gets a map out of the
There's
deal,
a map.
too.
Can we find a red source? Getting close,
You thi-
right?
They
Getting
really
close.
are. Restless Anchorage does serious work. Any of these creature lands,
And is a Sky Coach Conductor, it's prepared,
It's
right?
prepared so he can do the
still-
Drowner
Right, you
again.
can still freeze something here.
I do not have red.
is he gonna tempo him out?
I mean, it's certainly looking like it here.
Just keep him off balance long enough. The High Noon, very annoying too.
I see another threat there. It looks like a Badger Mole Cub here on the right side. Run that out. So that's a 1/1 haster.
Sure.
This.
Yes.
On
Life
Faithful
totals are
Passage.
9 to 8.
Right.
Yes.
Just passes.
Yeah, High Noon is there.
Right.
He plays the Cub and hands are tied after that.
Yeah. What can Zevin do here? He has the ability to flicker with the Sky Coach Conductor if
Yes,
he wants.
and he can lock down the Fabled Passage or the Cub.
Or the Chocobo is going to be online next turn.
Yeah, or just keep the
Right?
Chocobo
And
unlocked.
Chocobo is
Yeah.
just close to lethal by itself, so. Oh, but okay, going for the Cub here, maybe trying to get damage through with the Flood Pitch Drowner as well. Currently, there's a 1/1 in play. But you do have a map token. You do have a map token, and you can potentially make the Flood Pitch Drowner larger. Not quite lethal.
Max package.
Okay, what do we hit?
Another
Drowner.
It is
Okay.
really feeling difficult for David to get anything going here. His creatures are all tapped down and stunned. He can only play 1 card a turn. His deck plays basically all at sorcery speed.
Zevin does not want it.
Where Zevin's playing the exact opposite, basically all at instant speed.
All right, so this is
The
5
restless
damage.
anchorage is up and
Yeah,
running.
so 5 damage coming in the air. This is putting David on a 2-turn clock. Oh, Flood Pitch Drowner coming in as well.
You're at 8.
Putting Zevin to the test here, or rather David to the test. Does David want to just block with the Fabled Passage, right? You can just put that in front of the Flood Pitch Drowner, and that shuts off the flicker on the Sky Coach Conductor.
Sure. Trigger release.
Yes.
6 counters on that.
But with the High Noon in play, it's really hard for David to have an explosive turn, right? Just play
Extremely difficult.
one spell.
I mean, all he wants to do is play his Llanowar Elves and then maybe the Earthbender Ascension if he finds the right window, but
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
he's only been able to do one thing per turn.
So Badger Mole Cub is stunned, but the Chocobo is not. But Zevin has a Get Lost. So I think Zevin kind of has
He's got his bases
everything
covered,
covered.
here.
Yeah.
There it is. Get
Right.
lost, destroy target creature.
Go ahead.
Enjoy your
And
maps.
at 8 life with 2 blockers in play, I think Zevin's going to be able to take this one down.
Wow, he was just jockeying for position over and over and over. It felt a little sketchy there. I
Right.
mean,
And you have that
David has 2 fully charged up Ascensions.
Yeah, I mean, those Avatar's Wrath certainly did a lot of work.
so my target's right. Yeah.
And all it took was just a random flyer and the land to take this one down.
It's looking like Azorius Tempo is going to get the job done against David Åstrand.
David's like, I'm so close.
I know.
There's so many things I'd like to do.
Can I play 2 spells
Okay.
instead? And that's going to do it. Zevin Faust picks up the match 2-1 in impressive fashion. That deck is not easy.
No,
Right? Like,
no.
you have no wiggle room, and it feels like you're playing on a razor's edge the whole time, it looks like.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, the deck isn't the most aggressive deck out there. There's not a ton of card flow either. You have to just kind of time everything perfectly, and you have to be able to fully anticipate everything
Yeah.
that your opponents can play. And we saw Zevin do that over the course of that entire match. Multiple instances where, he could have annulled that Earthbender Ascension,
Yes.
chose not to. He could have used different removal spells in previous games and just chose not to. So I just, he's clearly mastered how to play this deck. And, this is the type of deck where in the hands of a less capable pilot, this is probably one of those decks where the floor is very low. You can just have a lot of people just win 30 to 40% of their matches. But if you know what you're doing and you fully understand the metagame, you can put together a good result like Zevin.
Yeah, it reminds me of Modern. Right?
Sure,
a lot
right?
of players become specialists in their list. They know exactly what to do with it. All right, we are going to take a short break here from Las Vegas. When we come back, though, we've got more magic for you. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to coverage here of Pro Tour Secrets of Strixhaven. Excuse me, I'm Marshall Sutcliffe. I'm with Paul Cheon, and we are in Las Vegas. Take a look at some of the cool things that you can see out at Magic Con. That's a trophy, by the way, that you can win if you win this Pro Tour.
It's a nice one.
It's beautiful. Lots of really great stuff going on out at the in the main convention hall behind us here. Really something for everyone. It's a great place to be, but we're focused on the Pro Tour here. And we've got yet another match. We're just squeezing in one more before this is penultimate round. We've got one more after this, but let's take a look at game 3, by the way, between Kenny Oswald and Matthew Wright. Now, Kenny, 4-2. Matthew Wright, also 4-2. And we have kind of an interesting matchup here. It's Golgari mid-range. Just keep it simple. The Rock, if you will,
Right.
against Azorius Momo.
Yeah, no Izzet cards in sight here, so this should be really, really interesting here. I think Azorius Momo is probably the type of deck that a lot of people would want to register to really attack the Izzet prowess decks that were expected in this field. Curious to see how it kind of plays out against other decks, right? Especially a deck like the Golgari mid-range deck, which presumably has a lot of ways to kind of generate card flow, try to get some 2-for-1s, and lots of spot removal.
Again, this is game number 3 as we come in. Players split the first 2 games and are now ready to rumble here in the last one. And it looks like a mulligan to 6 here for Kenny with Matthew on 7 on the play.
But a turn
And the
one
namesake
Momo.
card.
Yeah, you get that Momo in the opener, and your opponent can't kill it right away. Can get kind of scary. Clarion Conqueror on turn 2. So, I mean, turn 2, 3/3 flyer, not bad. Presumably also going to be shutting off some of what Kenny can do.
Yeah, Clarion Conqueror is one of the most annoying cards out there.
Yeah, super strong, especially against all the Badger Mold Cub decks and Llanowar Elves. Just being able to shut that down on turn 2 on the play makes it so hard for those decks.
I'm sure you'll notice that our
Okay.
players are playing very quickly. We have sped this up just a little bit.
Oh, and Matt does miss a land drop here. Has a really good board.
But Sage of the Skies
Just
all
the
by
2/3 life leaker,
itself,
not
yeah.
as great. Maelstrom Pulse probably just wants to preserve the life total here, run at that Maelstrom Pulse. You know, just try to stabilize here as long as, and just hope that Matt is continuing to kind of stumble here.
Man, Kenny plays Maelstrom Pulse? Like Reed's going to come
I mean,
running
you,
over here.
You did just say The Rock, and that is about
Totally.
as mid-range as it gets.
I love it.
Okay, so Seam Rip, and then picks it up with the Nurturing Pixie just to get that extra counter. So Matt, you know, not playing lands, but doing what he can here to just try to close this game out.
Yeah,
against
this
Kenny.
is a way you can do it. Now the roles are very much solidified here. Kenny is trying to play the control route. He is trying to remove as many of these threats and keep his life total up, where Matthew is desperately trying to get in as much damage as possible.
And Kenny does have kind of the main reason why you want to play this deck or even give it a shot in Standard in Professor Delianfell in hand. Very, very powerful Planeswalker. You just play that thing, it's got a gazillion loyalty. You just gain 3 life. It's really hard for your opponents to just even get this off the battlefield, even with some creatures in play.
Yeah, Professor Delianfell is a house. That card is fantastic.
Right now, Matt's representing 5 damage. You just gain life here. Yeah, I mean, you go up to 12. Even if Matt attacks with everything, it's still going to stay on the battlefield.
You got yourself a Planeswalker left over.
Yeah, I mean, if it gains you 3 life and takes all of Matt's damage, I mean, it's a 4-mana card that's gained you essentially double-digit life.
And that's going to come in very handy here for Kenny. He had fallen down just to 9 life, even at this juncture.
Right.
This will put him back up to 12.
Yeah, if Matt finds a land or has more creatures to run out this turn, it's possible he just decides, you know what? Maybe I'm just going to ignore Delianfell. Maybe I just need to go to the face.
That's a big decision.
Yeah.
Planeswalkers with this much loyalty really do force you to make that kind of call on, am I going to do a multi-stage attack on your Delianfell,
To the
giving
face.
up all that damage? Or am I going to do this, attack you? Down to 7 goes Kenny.
But no follow-up, so this is brutal here
Ooh, no
for
land.
Matt. I mean, Kenny's gonna just go back up to 10 here, gain even more life with the Professor if he wants. Is that an urgent necropsy? Well, we got some nice ones here in this Golgari mid-range deck.
Yeah, let me take a look at this list.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
There it is.
Yeah, and it looks like Kenny got Unholy Annex as well. This is something that you see in the Golgari mid-range decks. Works really nicely with the Accelerant Feardock core, right? It acts as an accelerant that also is all creature types. So if you get that in play with Unholy Annex, all of a sudden you have your own card draw effect that drains your opponent for 2.
Counts as a demon.
And Kenny actually utilizing the Professor here to kill Sage of the Skies, it seems like.
Now that he has a blocker.
Right. But Matthew does find, finally, land number 3 there.
And critically blue mana.
Right.
Just a quick double check from the judge, it looked like.
And of course, Matt has no shortage of action. There's a Seam Rip. Remember, he picked that up earlier. So you can just play out that Seam Rip to just get that demon off the battlefield. Very, very clean answer to that.
Yeah, and Kenny will have known about that as well.
Right, and Matt also has Aang Swift Savior. Nothing to bounce, though. It is interesting. The thing Matt's thinking about is like, if I play the Aang, it pumps up my Momo, and then I can just kill the Professor.
Right.
Do I want to do that, or do I want to... Oh, instead, just choosing to play out the Momo and kill the Professor. All right, so
nice.
Matt, finding that third land, has now stabilized here. I don't know if maybe running out that demon was the best option here for Kenny. I don't know what else he had to work with, but he knew about that Seam Rip.
So he just played a second legendary Momo-friendly flyer.
Just to pump up the current Momo to get it to 2 power to get Professor off the battlefield. Yeah.
And now we see Kenny with Llanowar Elves.
Okay.
Okay, Kenny, that's not going to do it.
Doesn't block the flyers, but still has that Urgent Necropsy in hand, so you can use that to kill one of the 1-drops, I suppose. You can kill a variety of different permanents, but right now, of course, killing the Seam Rip doesn't do anything. So it would be a kind of an overcosted spot removal spell here to get either the Pixie or the Momo.
Yeah, I feel like Kenny is willing to pay at this juncture, even if it's too much, or even if it's more than you'd be accustomed to.
Kenny going, oh, I don't really want to do it. Yeah, I guess I'm going to just take it here. I mean, Kenny's kind of out of action here.
He really is. I mean, his turn was Llanowar Elves.
Seam Rip on the elf?
Yeah, just keep that pressure up, says Matthew.
I guess that does give you an extra target for the Necropsy. So you would be able to get your elf back and then kill one of these flyers.
Yeah. Is that enough value?
But Matt does still have that Aang Swift Savior in hand.
Yeah, he's got the mana to cast it too.
And we're also at the point where with that Abandoned Air Temple in play, if Matt has any number of flyers and just finds land number 5, you know, Kenny's down to 4, right? Just won't take a lot.
Okay, here it is. Urgent Necropsy. What happens?
All right, going for the 2/2 and the Seam Rip here. And if you're Matt, says, you know what? That's fine. I still have the Momo and I still have Aang to play here. End of turn. Is that a Delian Fell?
It kind of looked like it.
Yeah. Well,
excuse me, by the way, it's Professor.
excuse me.
Yeah.
The Professor.
Went to a lot of schooling, and you're going to respect that title.
Okay. All right.
So 5 loyalty. Now what?
I mean, Kenny has to be expecting some kind of a flash flyer here.
So
actually choosing to gain the life, going up to 7 here.
Bank the life gain.
So if the Aang Swift Savior enters the battlefield, that's 3 damage in the air. If Matt draws land number 5, that's 5 damage in the air. After putting the counters on the 2 flyers. Wonder what else Kenny is considering here, although it might also be on Matt, not sure. Is he considering unlocking?
Oh.
Yeah, that would be rough, though, because then
Very
you go to
risky.
5, because you don't have a demon in play, and if you unlock Unholy Annex, You go to 5, Matt plays out Aang, plays a land, and then you just die to the abandoned air temple.
Yeah, you can see he's trying to map out, if it leaves me just dead, then I can't do it.
Right.
But boy, if I could get any extra cards going, it sure would be good.
Not a land. Squeezing. It's like,
Didn't
is
look
that a
like
land?
a land.
Yeah, there was a spring leaf drum, a pseudo land. Not quite
Oh.
good enough here, though.
If he had drawn a land, he could activate his... Oh, we're going back to Delian Fell now.
Yeah, and if you go back to Delian Field, I mean, if you're a Kenny, you got to be thrilled about that.
Absolutely. Especially because Matthew cannot kill Delian Fell with his combat.
Is that a Curious Farm Animals?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Nice pull.
Yeah, well, you know, wasn't that long ago. Boar, elk, bird, ox. Lots of types here. Choose
None of
if you
those
like.
relevant in the format.
Going up to 10 here.
Wow.
Now, Kenny can choose to cast Unholy Annex here, but of course, with the Curious Farm Animals, won't actually be doing a whole lot here. So just choosing to go with Keen-Eyed Curator and then have the ability to turn on the Soulstone Sanctuary and turn that into a 3/3.
Farm animals are going to get thrown. And that'll put Matthew up to 27 with his turn upcoming. But he doesn't have much. It looks a little better than it actually is, right? The Spring Leaf Strum and the Seam Rip aren't doing too much here.
Yeah, the one downside to using the Curious Farm Animals to kill the Unholy Annex is now you've lost your mana source, right? Because you could have used the Curious Farm Animals with the Springleaf Drum to utilize your Abandoned Air Temple and pump the rest of your flyers.
Right.
You can still do that, but you would have to tap Momo or Aang if you want to get that done.
You really want to get those things, getting Delian Fell off the battlefield ASAP. Of course, Matthew could just draw a land for the turn and do the same.
Right.
But it doesn't look like he's done so, at least not yet.
Yeah, well, look, definitely looks like there's a little mathing going on here.
Definitely. Oh, yeah, that's numbers.
Oh, Starfield Shepherd here. Great, great pickup
He's
here.
going to warp this?
Warp it in, find a 1-drop. Lots of really good cards to get here. We'll see what he chooses. Gets Nurturing Pixie, so you can pick that up again. Right, you can pick that up and then you can warp it in again.
And he's got the
all of a
drum
sudden,
active now, too.
Right, and that's the combo, right? All of a sudden, you can just build up an entire army out of nowhere with one Starfield Shepherd.
Starfield Shepherd was a sick draw for Matthew Wright. This is where Kenny was starting to think, you know, I got this Delian Fell.
Like getting a bunch of life.
I might just be back in this thing, and now it looks like it's falling apart again.
Yeah, I mean, especially with that Momo in play, right? You just get that discount on the warp as well on the Shepherd.
Also, that Momo's getting big.
Right.
Like, that die is tracking triggers,
It's
right?
what, is that a 4/4 right now?
Yeah. And Delian Fell's at 6, so
yeah. So
bye.
Couple of options. You can either choose to get another Pixie or, actually choosing to get a Plains there instead. Could also look to get a Seam Rip potentially just to get that Keen-Eyed Curator off the battlefield.
Sure. But this will actually kill Delian Fell.
Right.
Wow, what a
bunch of
turn
those
for
flyers.
Matthew.
Yeah, and the Shepherd is now warped, but a huge, huge turn. Kenny needs a big draw here. You know, perhaps a sweeper. I mean, this is game number 3. So if you had anything like that just to wipe out this entire board, that would be very nice because he's not anywhere close to killing Matt at 27 life.
That's right. He activated Soulstone Sanctuary on end step and also the Keen-Eyed Curator. He does still have that Llanowar Elves that is airbended. But none of these are really moving the needle at this point. And, of course, everything's in the air on the other side, too.
Yeah, with that Abandoned Air Temple, too. That's why Matt went and got that Plains, too, to make sure that he can activate it if he needs. What is happening here?
Oh, he's going to make a huge...
growing a Keen-Eyed Curator just to get some damage in? I guess
it would
that's
be
your only
10.
option. Yeah?
So he's decided that his only way out is to try to race.
But, like, how
That
is he
is a
going to...
very tough...
How is he going to race these flyers?
Yeah, it's a tall order, but he must just have nothing else going in hand and said, well, off we go.
So there's several things Matt can consider here. It's like either just attack and pump my squad or just play out that Shepherd Yeah, and he's going for
He's going for it.
the aggro line here.
So that's 8 damage, puts you to 2.
8 damage, puts you to 2.
So any one of these flyers is now lethal. Kenny either has to win the game this turn,
Needs a sweeper.
gain a
really.
bunch of life, or sweep the board.
Right.
He's going to try to get in for 10, but Matthew had built up a really nice life total of 27.
And he just passes.
Kenny did 20 damage over the last 2 turns.
Not enough.
And now he is facing down 3 lethal threats that he has, at least from what we can see, no way to deal with.
Matt still just playing methodically here. Make sure he kind of covers all of his bases here.
I wonder if there's any insurance plan that he can set up here.
Right. It's just like, what can you do at instant speed that somehow deals with all of my flyers?
Combat. Yep. I'm dead.
And that's everything. Kenny sums it up for us with 2 words. I'm dead.
Yeah, you got it.
Wow, great job by Matthew Wright.
Yeah, I mean, he was stuck on 2 lands for 5 turns, something along those lines, but still put up a really good fight, fighting and grinding through multiple Delian Fells that were on the battlefield.
Yeah, that was really impressive stuff because it really felt like one of those games where swinging back and forth. It was like, oh, no, he's way too far behind. And it was like, oh, Delian fell. Okay. And all of a sudden, now you're right back in it and then swung right back in the other direction.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of see how impressive this Azorius Momo deck looks. It's just very, very resilient. You would think once you get to that kind of late stage of the match, you would favor the Golgari side, but that wasn't the case. All it took was that 1 Starfield Shepherd, and all of a sudden, Matt just had an entire army ready to go.
Yeah, that's right, and that was enough to get the job done, and that's exactly what happened. We've still got another round of Standard to cover today. Before we do that, though, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more at the news desk after this.